It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he's just depressed today. He spent over 10 grand to sit upper level at Madison Square Garden last night. Had to fly back here this morning to be here, and all that, and his New York Knicks lost. Dale Hellestrae, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen. There's only one of us in this room that could afford a $10,000 seat.
I wouldn't pay that.
I didn't say wouldn't, so there's only one of us that can afford it.
My favorite meme I saw last night was Harry Potter. You know Harry Potter, right, Dale?
I've heard of it.
Okay. But he lived in this cupboard under the stairs. Before he went to the magical school.
Okay.
So somebody had the picture of Harry in this under, just a little small room.
Right.
And they had it in there, and they go, New York fans going back to their apartments after spending 10 grand on a final seat to watch their team lose. Pretty freaking hilarious. Pretty freaking hilarious.
Well, at least he got to see a good game, close game.
Yeah, but then they all had to get there. I saw one guy got there 3 hours early, and he still got in the stadium 30 minutes before
really?
Whatever. Yeah, because they had everything shut down because the president was there. All the dignitaries were there. And
I thought that was for some of the ESPN personnel.
Yeah, well, Stephen A. Smith showed up.
Yeah, I thought Stephen A. Smith. So
he walks in like he owns the building all the time. I don't watch the pregame because of that stuff. I can't stand that side of it when ESPN personalities are walking in like they own the places. Get out of here with that garbage.
Well, to me, there's only one that really does that.
Well, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. I mean, and they film walking out like he's a prize fighter.
Yeah, like we're all here to see him.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Celebrity Row was on point last night. I was reading all the unwritten rules celebrities.
Oh, I see. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I read it. Was it the Athletic? I think the Athletic had it. The unwritten rules of sitting courtside at Knicks games.
So do those apply to everybody but Spike Lee?
No, everybody. Yeah, everybody's got.
I feel like Spike Lee gets a little.
Yeah, he's had season tickets for so long, though, right? That is true.
He because he's the only one I ever see walking up and down and taking a step on the court. The other people are cheering and yelling and screaming.
That young actor that coming out in Dune 3 coming up. I always call him not Timothy Oliphant, but that guy. Chalamet. He's there and just huddled up. He's a tiny dude. But he just sits there all huddled up and everything. And
I got to tell you, the most disappointing part of it was they literally had to work at it, the camera angle, because Derek Jeter was sitting next to Eli Manning.
And they were second row. God, who do they not know?
And they were sitting there. Well, they probably said, you know what? It's not really worth 20 grand.
Knowing Eli and Derek Jeter, both Eagle-ists, they didn't care. Yeah, they didn't care. They don't need to be front row.
But they're sitting right next to each other.
You think they paid for those seats?
In one shot, I don't know. I heard that there's a lot of seats that are put aside for celebrities.
Yes.
They don't pay for them.
Yes. I don't know if that happens in the finals.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Regular season, that's the case.
Because usually the NBA takes over in the playoffs.
Howard Stern talked about that because Howard Stern would go to Knicks games when they weren't good. Now he's mad that they're good because he has a hard time going now.
Yeah.
I don't listen to him anymore, but he doesn't pay for the tickets. It's just they want him on this. It's like L.A. They want him there.
But Eli Manning and Derek Jeter sit right next to each other. Both won world championships in New York. And literally they somehow, some way were able to cut Eli Manning out of the shot just so
Derek could be in there.
Like, come on, show my man Eli a little bit.
Yeah, but one's a hometown hero and one's Eli.
Couple Super Bowls.
Yeah, but he's still not thought of as even New Yorkers debate if he's a Hall of Famer or not at that point. So yeah, it's interesting what happens there. But I do have a little bit of NBA Finals trivia for you, Dale.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of depressing.
Really? Yeah. The Suns don't have much trivia.
Well,
they have 3 finals appearances.
They're involved in this.
Oh,
this is where it gets depressing.
What NBA team has not won a championship?
No. For only the second time in finals history, the road team has won the first 3 games. Only happened one time before. Dale, what was that time?
Obviously, it's one of the Suns.
33 years ago.
33 years ago.
Yeah.
So not the latest one.
No.
So in the 92, they started off 2-0.
And Chicago won twice in Phoenix. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other way around.
And then, and then they went to Chicago, and the Suns won in Chicago the first game. Yeah.
Okay.
The road teams won them.
Okay.
Yeah. Depressing. even when we're not even out of the play, we haven't played basketball in 3 months. It feels like it probably has been 3 months.
You know, when your team is in the playoffs, they go fairly quickly.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I can't believe it's over.
Yeah, when they don't make the playoffs, it seems like it's half the season.
Oh my goodness! But yes, Suns involved in a little bit of knowledge there, which we don't want to be a part of. So there you go. I wanted to get you depressed to start the show.
You can't bring me down on a Tuesday.
Can't bring you down.
You can't bring me down. Big Tuesday, big game Tuesday. What do they call that? Big. Oh, that's Big Monday.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I don't know anything about Tuesday. Action Day. I know that out there. A couple of things. We got a bunch of local stuff. Diamondbacks, of course, get underway again today. Game 4 tonight in the NHL. I'm not even going to tell you who to pick in this game. Just sit down and enjoy a fantastic Knights Carolina Hurricanes basketball game tonight.
Or hockey. Whichever one they're going to play.
Yeah, man. Maybe a basketball game will break out. Did I say basketball? Really?
Yeah, you did.
Marlins Diamondbacks starts at 3:40. Hockey starts at 5. Plenty of time to catch most of the Diamondbacks, and when they're down by 13, you can switch over to hockey. No problem. Zach Gallen on the mound today. Bats aren't hitting.
They got it all fixed yesterday.
On the plane? Were they hitting on the plane?
No, they had conversations. I think Troy Lavello probably called them all together.
He did on the plane?
Yeah.
He was like, everybody join around. He got on the microphone. He's like, I want you guys to be aware of there's exit seats, exit doors in the middle, on the back, and behind us. And y'all better start hitting, clowns. Tired of this stuff. Y'all going to get me fired.
And I don't think anybody else is going to hire me at this point.
No, I think he gets hired almost immediately by a team.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a good. Here's his problem, Dale. He's been here long enough and just hasn't won. Every coach does this that doesn't win. We just saw this with the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Winning coach gets him to the first round of the playoffs every year, and they're still like, we're tired of this guy. He needs to go. He's ridiculous. Can't win. Garbage. Stupid human being. Doesn't know what he's doing anymore. You stick around long enough and don't win. See ya. He'll get hired again. Almost immediately. And I hope he enjoys Kansas City.
Oh.
Or Miami. That's a bad team. I'm trying to think of a bad team. Hope he enjoys the San Francisco Giants. Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, if he took over Colorado, he wouldn't have to even change spring training site.
Yeah, just stays right where he's at.
Just walk across the field.
Didn't even think about that. Just hang out here and everything. Yeah.
Make sure if you're a hockey fan, I'm just sure you already have, but make sure that you can get ABC somehow, some way.
I get it, no problem. I watch it on the ESPN app because I have the unlimited app.
Like I said, not everybody can afford $10,000 seats at a game like Steve, and not everybody can afford every stinking app known to man. I just
was thinking about like, watching what people had to go through to get into that stadium last night for a game 3 on top. It'd be one thing if they won last night and won a championship. Then you can almost like in your mind justify it. You can like, oh my God, this was so great. But you went through all of that, fighting traffic, got down there, had to go through the ultra layers of security, the pain in the butt security where, they're all jerks to you and everything, trying to get into this stadium. And you finally get into the stadium and you're all excited. And then your team loses. It's just, oh my God, you spent that much money. Shoot me now.
Well, at least you didn't see a 25-point blowout.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it matters how big the loss was. Does it?
Well, at least it was an exciting game. I mean, back and forth.
It was.
Spurs
I actually, at
out.
halftime, I was like, Spurs are in trouble.
Yeah. So Spurs jumped out. Knicks came back. Knicks
I was literally thinking Spurs are in trouble. They needed to have a lead, not be down by whatever it was, 9 points at halftime. I was like, they're struggling. They're doing the same stuff they did before. That wave that the Knicks went through at the beginning with the emotions and the crowd and all of that stuff had worn off by then. And I was like, uh-oh, Spurs are in trouble. And then what did the Spurs do? Let's come out in the third and dominate. They didn't dominate, but they did enough to get through there. But Diamondbacks tonight, here's my question. And then, of course, you got to have a coach complaining after last night, of course, because you lose. You have to go and complain about the refs. Did you feel that was a badly officiated game last night? I mean, Wemby shoving Brunson to the ground early in that game and no call. Like, all right, guys, like, way to set the tone, refs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'd rather them miss a few calls of extra physicality than call every little bump and
I agree with that. And that was early enough in the game, it didn't matter. If that was the fourth quarter game-winning shot, trying to inbound the ball, different story.
Because
that was early enough. It didn't bother me.
Well, yes, that should have been a foul called on Wemby. But if you watched closely what Cat was doing to Wemby the last few possessions, he would have been called for holding in football.
If he was at a club, Dale, the bouncers would have kicked him out.
Oh, in a heartbeat. And it would have taken a few of them because he had such a good grip on Wemby. So, if you're gonna argue that they let them play with too much physicality, it was both sides.
I agree. I thought the officiating was perfect last night. Did they miss some? Yes. Did they make up for some? Yes. But the officiating in no way called it last night. I would actually argue the Knicks' problem was they weren't physical enough last night. And what I mean by that on the offensive side, settled for a lot of jump shots, settled for a lot of hanging out outside of stuff. They didn't force the hand of the refs to call it or not call it. The reason why I bring it up is if you look at the stat line, what was it, 28-4 or something like that in free throws? There was ridiculous difference. So Mike Brown, of course, has to go to the press conference last night and lobby the refs. Like, look, you're not going to get calls if you're outside and not pushing the point, driving to the lane and stuff like that. You're not going to get the point. The fouls called against the Knicks were all inside. A lot of them were inside the paint where the Spurs were going rebounds or going for shots and things to that effect. And things to that. You gotta be physical in this game. You can't hover around outside and not force the point. But we gotta have Mike Brown complain about the free throw disparity, get the refs on his side moving forward. Here he is after the game. Brown.
Opportunities for fouls to be called to at least try to even the free throws out. Now, we didn't play good. San Antonio played great. We could have played better. There were a lot of things that we didn't do that we did in game one and game two. But to go 24 free throw attempts in a second half, that's 48 for the game if you think about it the way that they called that second half, compared to 8. All the shots we took, we got fouled 4 times, roughly, for 8 free throw attempts. Again, I don't complain much. I never thought I'd see that in an NBA Finals game.
Get out of here. He doesn't even make his own good argument. This is my point. He doesn't even make a good argument. Commit to it, man. If you're going to make up some stat that you see, commit to it.
You could tell his heart wasn't into it.
He was just trying to find something.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I wanted to play that clip. I wasn't even going to play it.
No.
But he's just like, look, we didn't play good. We sucked tonight. We didn't play good. They played better. We didn't do what we needed to do to get those foul calls. But then he's all doing math. Stop it. 24 free throws in the second half. That means it's 48 for the whole game if you extrapolate it out. What?
You're talking big words for guys like Steve and the rank and file.
Yeah, you're talking to your New York fans there. Use smaller words.
Oh. Wow. But again, I thought that it was a very physical game. I thought there would be more fouls called. There weren't. Again, I'm always one to say err on the side of letting it become a little too physical. There were a couple flare-ups. They were broken up very quickly. Yeah, I mean, the guys know it's the finals. I do something really stupid, I'm missing a finals game.
We just got to either decide on, can guys leave the bench or can guys not leave the bench?
Well, if
you're
you're David Stern, you can't.
I know. It's just infuriating watching.
Although I saw Adam Silver for a little bit before the game, and he said that in the offseason, flopping is going to be addressed.
You know how you stop flopping? We won't call it during the game, but after the game, we're going to fine you $10,000 for every flop, and it's going to exponentially go up. And when you get to 4 flops, you're going to be suspended for a game or 2. And that's what we're going to do. That's how you stop flopping. Hit them in the pocketbook and suspensions. That's how you do it. Anything short of that ain't going to matter. Stupid. Put them in the penalty box like hockey does. You have to sit for 2 minutes.
Is there a flopping call in hockey?
Oh, yeah. Embellishment. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it ever get called?
Oh, yeah. They call it. I'm not going to say a ton.
Okay.
But they call it. Yeah. Oh, they call it. Yeah. That's the problem. The NBA had rules on flopping. They just never call it all the time.
Right.
Because the refs don't want to be embarrassed that they called a foul on a flop. So they're not going to go, he was flopping. I called it. I'm a moron. But here's what alarms me by what Mike Brown was saying there. It's alarming to me that he's like trying to make up that stat to make it sound like, even though he said all the reasons why they lost and everything. To me, it just looked like, in that press conference at least, it made it look like, we got beat tonight. We just got beat. We got to find a reason why. We got to have an excuse why we got beat tonight. I don't know. That's just not a good look in my eyes. If he would have sat down and been like, this is ridiculous. You guys see the foul? This is ridiculous. We cannot be having this. This is dumb. We need to be more physical, and those refs need to start calling these balls. We need to start driving the ball to the lane and get these calls. We're going to do this much of an effort. They better be calling it. Take the fine and you go home. That's one thing. But he's like, we need a reason for why we lost tonight. Let's see. We'll talk about second half free throws. I'm going to go in, extrapolate out to the whole game. See, I've never seen an NBA Finals game like this. Well, I don't know. He must not be watching a lot of NBA Finals because coaches, since the beginning of time, Phil Jackson, have been complaining about foul calls in the NBA Finals and lack of them.
Trying to set the tone for the next game.
But that doesn't set the tone. The referees are hearing that and going, whatever, Tiger. It just seems to me like I just took it as, we got our butts beat tonight. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to make something up. And I don't like that. I didn't like it. I watched the whole press conference. I didn't like his mannerisms. To me, it just felt like
there was no conviction whatsoever.
It felt like it was like, I'm looking for an excuse on why we lost tonight. And that's not good to my eyes in the finals. Now it's in front of the media. He might have gone in the locker room and been like, guys, we need to do this better and this better. But I don't know. It just gave me a bad feeling about Mike Brown and his coaching.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I thought about it for about 5 minutes and then went about my life.
Spurs up. I don't know. Did your opinion change on this series now?
No, I just think it makes game 4 a lot more interesting. It's like if they're down 3-0, then here's the thing. It seems like New York is a better basketball team because even towards the end when the Spurs were hitting on all cylinders, the Knicks don't ever fall back by more than 10 or 12.
Yeah, they come back quick.
And they can come back like this. Now, last night, the Spurs are able to do that.
Yeah.
They're gaining experience right in front of our eyes.
The Spurs.
closing out games and things.
Yeah.
Yes, the Spurs are.
I think losing those two at home got the Spurs the win last night.
At least
That experience got them the win last night.
figure out how to finish, even though both teams jacked up threes that were like as the shot clock was running down. It's like, oh, okay, that's a prayer.
Drives me nuts.
And they made it.
Drives me nuts. I think I came on air yesterday and said that I didn't factor in the inexperience of the Spurs was going to be a problem, and it was a problem in 1 and 2. It wasn't a problem last night. So did they learn? They learned that lesson, which is impressive if a young team kind of learns that after. But also, like I said, going on the road into a hostile environment without the distractions around you, especially as a young team, can help you as well.
Oh.
So it'll be fascinating to see. I think Game 4, though, is pretty much a must-win for the Spurs. You can't go down 3-1, even though you are going back home eventually to do that. I think this has to be big. And I'll tell you this: if the series goes 2-2, that exponentially puts even more pressure on the Knicks because it's 3 games in New York. So if it's 2-2 going into Game 5, still at home in New York, that crowd is going to not be as excited. That town's not going to be as excited coming home at a 2-0. They're celebrating for a championship, folks. That fan base, they're already planning the route and trophies and all of that stuff. Dale, good news is prices for Game 4 went down about half right after they lost last night.
Did they really?
Yeah, so now even you can afford a couple tickets, $6,000 each.
How about we root for a Spurs win and maybe I can afford to get into Game 5?
Spurs tickets were like to get in was like $600 get in price for Game 1 and 2. Compared, but it's different markets, and one's run recently, one's San Antonio. And stop. I don't know. I know we don't get into politics, but when you're spending I know not everybody spent $10,000. Season ticket holders, they spend a lot for those tickets. NBA takes it over. But what are you guys booing the president for? You rich a-holes. The rest of us are sitting at home watching it, eating our beans and rice. Trying to figure out how we're going to make rent this week. And some guy's like, some punk 22-year-old kid. Oh, I got 2 tickets for tonight. I go to the game tonight. I spent $10,000 on the ticket. Even if we give him a break and say $5,000 on a ticket, and you're booing, yeah, how bad is your life, man? If you're spending that kind of money on a ticket, I don't know. It just drives me nuts. That's how I say it. Drives me nuts. Nothing like the snotty rich complaining about how bad their life is by booing. You've ruined my life, President Trump. I'm sitting nosebleed now. I should be sitting 7th row. So stupid.
See, I'm more interested in stuff like this Evan Pfeiffer. You heard of him?
No.
New York Knicks fan. In his 2020 high school yearbook, he said the New York Knicks will win the NBA Finals in Game 6 in 2026.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what PS did he go to? PS what? They have to name their school by numbers. That's how.
Because there's so many of them.
Well, no, just because they're not smart enough to think of names.
Or come up with stupid names like Dobson.
We were named after Mr. Dobson.
Who's Mr. Dobson?
I'm sure he was somebody important.
We were named after the road that ran in front of our school.
No, he was a real dude. Had something to do with, I don't know, Mesa, I'm sure, or something. Didn't he? You would think. Well, yeah. Yeah, because where'd you go to school at? Saguaro's the real good one. Let's name it after a cactus.
Yeah, fighting saber cats of Saguaro.
You even made up a fictitious animal as your school name.
There are saber cats somewhere.
No, there's not. There's Thundercats. There's no saber cats.
Oh,
I watched a lot of those documentaries when I was a kid about Thundercats, Dale.
That was a cartoon on Saturday mornings.
Yes.
Like He-Man.
Yes.
He-Man and Thundercats.
Yes. Thundercats was awesome. Thunder.
I know you're looking up
Thunder.
saber cat. Well, where's the saber cat?
There is no such thing as a saber cat.
Fighting Sabercats.
That's why we call them the Fighting Hellies now. Although, yeah, we would have thought it. Scottsdale. A little shady. Doing some weird stuff up there. Who would have thought it?
Oh,
that was that SMU paycheck you got.
How'd you go from the Knicks losing to making fun of their high school?
Attacking, because that kid.
Oh. And then you circumvent that to come around and make fun of Saguaro?
Oh, yeah. I just had I did a whole circle. Are Sabercats real? No, here's actually the answer. No, you stupid moron. It's a made-up species, and only idiots use them as mascots. Well, thank you. Thank you, AI. Sabercats or saber-toothed cats are extinct species that lived millions of years ago.
Yep, see?
They roamed North and South America during the Pleistocene epoch. Fossils of sabercats have been found in various locations, confirming their existence. They are not related to modern big cats, but they are part of the subfamily Macrocodoniae. Sabercats went extinct about 10,000 years ago. Likely due to climate change, Dale. Freaking people driving cars killed off the sabercats back in the day. See what can happen if you don't get better with your environment, folks?
Won't have any more Sabercats.
I knew they were real. I just knew they were extinct, and they haven't been around forever.
You didn't know any of that.
No, I really did. I knew they were real. Yeah, they have those big tooth things. I know what is real. Mustangs. What was Dobson High School named for? Dr. Dobson, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure he was a doctor. I'm sure he was a genius.
He wasn't an athlete.
A pioneering Dobson family. They settled in the area in 1886. They established a massive ranch that eventually included the land where the school's campus now stands. The Dobson family name is a significant part of the Southwest Mesa's history. It's also the namesake of the surrounding Dobson Ranch community and Dobson Road. You can find out more about the school's campus and academic programs on the official Dobson High School website, or read about the history on Dobson High School Wikipedia page.
Distinguished alumni?
Oh, well, Stephen McCollum, and then there's a big gap. Oh, no, it's Toby Wright.
Yeah.
Big gap. Stephen McCollum. Huge gap. John Holmberg. And then Angel and Mark from Burrito Express. And then I just forgot her name. The soccer player that's married to the
Mia.
football player. Mia, yeah. Not Mia.
No.
Not Mia. Not Mia Hamm. The football player, the tight end. Oh my God, I just completely forgot her name. She's up there. I
just saw him.
It's Toby Wright, her, then me, then a big drop, and then me, and then just like a Grand Canyon sized difference, and then John Holmberg, and then Angel and Mark from Burrito Express.
He was a tight end for the Cardinals.
Ertz.
Ertz.
Yeah, Mrs. Ertz.
I took Graham to basketball practice at the YMCA the other day, and he was there.
He just hanging out? Isn't he injured? Is he coming off an injury?
I don't know, but he has a kid there.
No, he. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they still live here.
You don't know that.
No, I do know that actually. I do know that actually. They do live here still. He doesn't live in the Dobson area anymore, but Julie is her name. Holy cow! Why could I not think of that? She was after me, obviously. I don't remember that. So, what was her maiden name, Dale? What did she go to high school as? Out of curiosity, do you know?
I have no idea. She didn't grow up at her, did she?
She went to Dobson.
Oh.
What we're talking about.
That's not really Arizona.
Julie Johnston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, they're not your age, are they?
No,
They're older.
No. She was born in like 90, 91, something like that.
Okay.
Oh, no. Way after me. I think I was in high school, I think, when they were born. I think I was going to Dobson when they were both born. So about 18 years apart, 16 years apart. That's it. I could be that thing that everybody does. Oh, she went to a high school. I remember her. I remember watching her play soccer.
I'm looking up the Saguaro famous alumni.
That aren't sports people. Do non-sports people. Because we all know you bought a bunch of players that went on to have some good careers. We all know those were bots.
Matt Berry from ESPN.
That's right. I forgot he went to
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a celebrity, but okay.
Sandra Bernard, the actress and comedian.
Oh, really? She went to Saguaro?
Yeah.
That David Spade go there then?
David Spade went there.
Because I know they went to high school together.
Scott Johnson, a musician of the Gin Blossoms.
He's the dead one, isn't he?
I don't know. Chelsea Kane, she's an actress. Neil Pollack, novelist and humor writer.
Oh, yeah.
David Spade.
We all read him, yeah.
I was in the same class as his older brother, and we all thought Dave was a
nerd. Yeah, well, even Dave will tell you that.
Bruce Rauner was the governor of Illinois. David Schweikert.
Wait, he went to Saguaro and he was the governor of Illinois?
Yeah.
A lot of politicians, shocker, a lot of politicians went there. They got to cover up all the shenanigans going on.
Annalise Ortiz, Arizona State Senator.
Yeah, again, more politics. They got to cover up a lot of shenanigans going on at the school.
I do have the longest little bio of all the guys in here.
Oh, because you wrote it yourself?
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, I don't want to write about.
By far the best athlete to come through Saguaro High School.
See, I forgot one here. Let's go through it. Julie Ertz, obviously, in all seriousness, Julie Ertz, 2010 is when she graduated.
Okay.
From there. Chaz Reavy, I forgot about that. He graduated in 2000. Yeah, golfer.
Yeah.
I forgot about him going to school there as well. Multiple wins. Robin Wilson, he was the lead singer of the Gin Blossoms.
Really?
Yeah, none of this nonsense guitarists and other stuff. We're talking the
Oh,
real
they must
guy.
have met somewhere here in the valley.
In Tempe. Yeah, you know the story of the Gin Blossoms.
I don't care.
Probably should look it up.
I don't know any other songs. Sing me a song.
Paul Swingle. Hey, Jealousy. You want me to sing it for you? Paul Swingle. 1985, he graduated there. Major League Baseball player. Pitched for the Angels back in the day. Yeah. Marianne Dessard, a famous singer, songwriter, and filmmaker. Cody Justice. You don't know Cody Justice's name? ASU basketball.
Yeah.
Late 20. He graduated high school 2014. Cody, he was good. Bruce Cooper would know who he is.
I broadcast a couple of his games back when Cox did high school basketball.
I mean, then you got the McConnell family, right? Mickey McConnell.
Icky McConnell.
Well, Mickey ended up St. Mary's College is where he obviously made a name for. Now he's the head coach of St. Mary's with what's his name leaving and coming to Arizona State.
What's his name? Don't you do a sports show?
I do. Well, I also wasn't thinking about talking about this. Randy Bennett.
There you go.
Yeah. Tanisha Harper, actress and model known for television appearances.
Never heard of her.
I know. Isn't that just what you're...
Yeah.
Isn't that what they put on there? Actress and model known for her television appearances. I would argue not known for her television appearances. That's all they have listed. No me, no Angel or Mark from Burrito Express.
And no Holmberg, huh?
No Holmberg either.
How big he got to be?
He's a radio guy. Well, apparently you just have to be known for various bit parts in television. So I just looked up that Tanisha Harper. Is that her name? Yeah, Tanisha Harper. I just looked her up. First thing it says, American model, television host, and actress, best known for her role as Jordan Ashford in ABC daytime soap opera General Hospital, which she began playing in 2022. But bigger news here. Early career, born in Tokyo, Japan, raised in Scottsdale, Arizona.
And went to Dobson?
Yeah. Why is she in the Dobson High School notable alumni?
Well, maybe she couldn't qualify.
Maybe she couldn't get into the
Saguaro.
vast Saguaro high schools.
I wonder if Bruce is on Westwood's most notable alumni.
True. We should look that up, right? Oh, is Randy Bennett on that list as well? Is the question. that we got to do on it. Let's take a break here. Come on back, folks.
Get
having
back
some
to
fun.
sports.
We're just having some fun here in high school football and things like that, or high school sports, because, I mean, Saturday we got to talk Diamondbacks in this upcoming series against Miami. The gallon on the mound. All the fun stuff, Dale. Come on back, folks. Main event. That's when my sister went to Westwood. Well, so we walked in, of course. Welcome back to the main event
Oh,
here.
that was quick.
Bruce Coopers joins us here on Tuesdays, and we walked in, and Dale says, "Oh, you on the Westwood Notice Notable?" And Coop says, "All I gotta do, Dale, is go to the Mesa Hall of Fame. You'll find me there."
Mesa City Sports. hey, but you guys notice I'm wearing a Texas.
I was gonna ask you, what the heck's up with that?
I am very disappointed in our Arizona Diamondbacks.
You're jumping off ship.
Oh well, I got to make a statement. I got to let them know that, hey, if you want to keep my fandom and the rest of the Valley's fandom, I mean, look, there's a certain standard in which you must play. You can't give up 900 runs to the Washington Nationals in the first two games of a series.
They're the leading scorers in baseball, Major League Baseball. They can score.
I'm not saying they can't. But when you get one hit in one game, no hits in another, I'm exaggerating. I obviously gave up two or three hits in the game. I mean, come on.
I know what you're saying. Well, what do you take on this Marte situation? Let's get right into it. Now, this is a funny thing to me. Bob Nightingale came out and said there's some people not happy with Marte and how he takes days off and stuff. Yeah. And it is amazing how many, if you watch the social media and the fan base is going out, we want Marte here. He's missed 4 games this year. He's always playing and stuff like that. They miss the bigger point that people are talking about. But I would argue, and then all these people are coming out now in the media that they're on one side or the other, and people are coming out and saying, well, we need to stop talking about this. We need to start naming who's saying this stuff and kind of defending Marte and stuff to that effect. And in which I would argue, you're not hearing this about any other players. You're hearing about one guy. So if it's coming from the locker, which I believe it's coming from a player, not from the organization, another player is telling media that they're not happy with Marte's thing. But if one person is coming out and this story keeps coming out, that tells me there's a rift somewhere in this organization with Marte. So the people that say it's dumb that we're even talking about this, whatever, they're missing the bigger point. Somebody is going to somebody and complaining about it, and that's not good. That means there's an issue somewhere.
There's no doubt about it. Where there is smoke, there is fire. I mean, this just didn't come out of thin air.
Yeah, Bob Nightingale, which he's not always accurate, but he didn't just make this up. No,
he didn't make this up. And the thing about it is that Shohei Ohtani is on the mound. Yeah. And then you've played the first 2 games of that series. And we haven't heard hide nor hair about an injury, about anything that's cropped up on you.
He played 13 between the Giants and Rockies, won whatever that award was and being a great player for that time, for that stretch of that week or
National League
whatever.
Player of the Week, yeah.
All of that, not a question or mark. And the
Right.
day he needs off is the day your
Right.
team needs him the most.
And as Nightingale cited in his article, again, somebody, as you said, somebody's bringing it up. He said it's analogous to someone that says, "Hey, I don't want to go up against Randy Johnson today," or "I don't want to go up against Nolan Ryan." Hey, that happens. I mean, that happens. And so if you have an issue with Ketel Marte picking when he wants to play because he doesn't like his matchup against a particular pitcher, you have a problem.
Yeah, Coop, I got two things for you. When I heard about this, it harkened back to my playing days, and there was this mysterious illness that around the NFL was called the Larry Allen flu, to where guys would never be on the injury report all week long, and all of a sudden Sunday morning they get up and have an upset stomach or whatever, and wouldn't be able to go.
Right, we have some people out there that are young and they don't understand that Larry Allen was an all-pro offensive lineman on your Dallas Cowboys.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, maybe the best of our generation as far as dominance and all that. The question I have for you, you've been around Phoenix for a long time. You've got, I'm sure, a lot of special relationships. I'm sure there's some people you just tolerated, and you probably have one or two that you're not your favorite guys. I don't want those names. What I want to know, has anybody ever come to you about any teammate in any sport and said, "Coop, man, this guy, he's driving me crazy. Coop, Mike, can you just whisper some things about so-and-so?" And I don't need names.
Yeah.
I don't need teams. But I just wonder if it's ever happened with you or not.
In my 34 years, that never cropped up.
It never did.
No. I had people who would tell me that their teammate was like a cancer. So no one likes him, or this type of deal. He's difficult to deal with, that kind of deal. But never to the point to where it got to where,
Which is my point. People don't break the sanctity of a locker room and go to a media person anonymously and say this stuff. This isn't the first time. It's not going to be the last time. And this doesn't happen. If it happens, it's because they're sending a message, because it's not something that can be talked about in the locker room, or they know they can't talk about it, or they've been told to shut up in the locker room, whatever the situation. You don't see this stuff, and that's what proves to the point there. And it's amazing how everybody, because he's a good player, everybody just jumps to his defense and things like that. To me, the bigger thing is you can't keep saying there's no issue with Marte in the locker room. Oh, Torey Lovello thinks of him as his son. Well, Torey Lovello might not be the guy with the problem, but there's somebody in the organization close enough that has a problem with it, and that alone is alarming that they're willing to go public with it.
Yeah, look, players tolerate this. I mean, maybe you have a Randy Johnson, who isn't the most genial guy in the world, but they understand that every fifth day this guy's going to go out and he's going to give you, dynamite play.
Right.
Now you may have another player who's often on the injured reserve list.
Who's a pain?
But who may not be a pain, but he's often on the injured reserve list and he's making some nice change.
Right.
Well, players will still back that guy because his injuries are legitimate. Mm-hmm. He just happens to be injury prone. And so that narrative kind of leads to, the owner eventually getting rid of the player, but not because, Dale, he didn't want to play or he didn't like this matchup or he wants a day off. Mm-hmm. Nobody in my 34 years have ever come up and said anything close to anything like that.
Okay, so you tell me your thoughts on this. Because before you give me your thoughts, here's my thoughts. The things that I always make me chuckle as a former player in sports, the fact that, hey, a guy has attitude issues. Whatever sport you're talking about, he's got attitude issues, doesn't practice, shows up late, whatever those are. And you think giving him more money or more security is the answer. And that is never the answer. If a guy's got some bad habits before you give him money that now he controls you, Had a guy tell me this at SMU, a former reporter named Dale Hansen, longtime guy.
Oh,
and
NBC worked at he worked at the Fox. It was the NBC affiliate. NBC affiliate in Dallas.
In Dallas, Dale Hansen, and he said this on the SMU special. He said, when a school's buying a player, what they don't realize is the player now controls you. Because once you give him money, now he can hold your feet to the fire and say, hey, I'm going to the NCAA if you don't pay me more, if you don't pay me again, if you don't play me. The thing is with the Marte, you decide not to trade him last year. That's you can do whatever you want to do there. But now he's 10-5. You can't trade him without him saying, I want to be traded. And why would he want to be traded when he's got things pretty comfortable here in Phoenix? Just your thoughts on when you start hearing these things about one guy.
Well, I'm telling you, I in reading Nightingale's article, I mean, one of the things I agreed with him 100 on was that the management has allowed this to take place. And when you allow it to take place, then you are opening Pandora's box. But fortunately, they seem to have a lot of young players and a lot of professional players who don't want to go that route. But it gets under the skin of maybe a few players or maybe just one. But whoever is getting under skin and whoever skin is getting under, that narrative is getting out.
Right.
And it's going to the media. And so at some point, and you would think at some point, Torrey or Hazen, or even, I don't know, the owner, Kendrick, would have to sit him down and say something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought after last year's fiasco around the All-Star game.
That's what I was going to say.
I thought maybe that had been fixed and addressed, but clearly it hasn't. So if Torrey is this guy that allows, his star players or whoever he feels to run the asylum, then it is what it is. And so that always comes down to the manager first and foremost, because there's some managers that are. I mean, look, Buck Showalter would not put up with this, but Buck Showalter was just a very difficult guy to deal with, even from a media perspective.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I always appreciated the guys like Bob Brindley and Torrey Lavello, because they are approachable. They're amenable. But I'm just media, so I can't really go into the clubhouse. But clearly, their character is one in which they allow for allowances.
Well, and here's the other thing I can say real quick, and then I know Steve's going to talk. The fact that some of those Diamondback teams, when you have a Randy Johnson, a Mark Grace, you go down the list, Kurt Schilling, Luis Gonzalez, veteran guys that are old mind baseball people, they're not going to allow you to do that. And they self-police. Who would be that guy on the Diamondbacks?
I don't know that the Diamondbacks have some. They have a very young roster. Right. And then when you look at the veteran players, 10-5, that tells you that the only 10-5 guy on the team tells you that he's the most veteran player on that roster.
Right.
I believe it's coming from a player, and the reason why is because, and you brought up Torrey Lavello. Torrey Lavello, I believe Hazen is the guy that's running the strings with Marte. So if Marte wants a day off, I believe it comes from Hazen, where he gets that day off. I believe it's coming down from those levels down into him. But I believe it's coming from a player because, like, Ann brings up a good point here. Now, I'm not saying it's Arenado. She's asking if it is. But this is just an example. You could do Blaze Alexander last year. Yeah. Remember Blaze took that ball off his elbow and had the ball imprint on his hand? Out there the next day on a playoff push. And Marte fouls the ball off his shin guard and has to miss a couple of days, right? So she says, could it be Arenado who's making a stink? He was dealing with a groin injury, trying to play, but Marte can't play. That's why I believe it's coming from a player. And it also tells me there are leaders in this locker room that are being oppressed. And what I mean by that is, and again, I'm speculating here. This is just a speculation, but let's just say Corbin Carroll looks at this and goes, this isn't how we play baseball. Our team needs to be tough. We need to be out there trying to play. Nobody needs to take these things off. But he doesn't feel like he can say it to anybody because they see Marte's protected.
Yeah, well.
That's just an example of one player.
And Carroll is still, what is he, like 25, 26?
Yeah, he's not, yeah.
He doesn't, I don't think he has a voice like that resonates.
I don't think he's that type of person anyway.
Yeah, he shows by example.
Exactly.
This guy doesn't skirt anything. But I hadn't thought about the Arenado. Yeah, I could see that.
But how many players have been injured this year and fought to play and stay in the lineup? Corbin Carroll takes the ball off of his head and fought to play the next day, and they just set him out just for precaution, and he's right back in there again. You see all these players do it, and you have one guy that does the opposite. The thing that makes the most out of me is I think it's a player, which tells me two things. This can't be solved in the locker room because players feel if they go to Torrey or Hazen, they're going to be told, don't worry about it. It's Marte. We got it.
Well, let me tell you something.
That's
because,
dangerous.
I haven't given it that much thought, but you guys are throwing stuff out. And I saw that destroy a locker room when a guy went above the head coach and had a direct link to the owner. And
Michael Irvin?
No. That was Deion Sanders going straight to Jerry. And I told the story the other day when we were starting to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry called 10 of us veterans in. Sorry for you people who tuned in. It might get boring to you, might not. I called 10 of us in, and when he had a chance to sign, or we had a chance to sign Deion, here was a scouting report. Great teammate, great worker. The talent, inarguable. Maybe the best cover cornerback in the history of the NFL. So, I mean, the talent. But it's more our locker room was a special locker room. And, oh, no, he's a great teammate, practices hard, does all the things that we do. Well, Deion comes in after the baseball season, and we're required to lift weights 2 days a week. Deion doesn't lift weights. We practice in pads Wednesdays and Thursdays. Michael Irvin's in pads. Emmett Smith's in pads. Troy Aikman's in pads. Deion doesn't practice in pads. Now, all of a sudden, you got young defensive backs going, well, if he's not lifting, why do I got to lift? Well, you're not as good as him, number one. And then you see guys like Emmett Smith going, well, if he's not practicing in pads and banging, why am I? I'm a former NFL MVP. And slowly starts to take the locker room away. So I'm just curious, when Steve said, maybe it's above Torrey Lovello that they give him a day off or whatever, that gets scary.
That really does. Wow, that's a very
and it's all speculation because we don't know. It's
but
follow the train here, right? Lovello, they asked Lovello about it. I believe it was yesterday, but it was sometime. Oh no, I have no problem. I treat him as my kid, and all that stuff. It's just there's no admonishment of it or addressment of it until they were forced to last year. And then it was it's all solved. They kind of just brush it under the ropes again. And like I said, it's not that he took a day off. Everybody gets days off. And they don't do him any justice either. And this is my other complaint. Dale knows this. They don't do him any justice. Just give him a day off. Why do you have to say he's sore, he's tired, he needs a day off, he's sore and tired? Stop saying that's the reason you're giving him the day off, because guys like me and a lot of the fan base look at it and go, what a wuss. He's tired? He's sore?
I'm sore.
Get out there, man. What are you doing? Just say, hey, we decided to give him a day off. He's played in 14 straight games. We're giving him the day off. Stop making childish excuses for why he's missing the day off. Even if it's true, he's tired and sore and doesn't want to play. They're not doing him any favors on that side, which also leads me to think it's not Torrey, that's upset with it. Torrey's kind of has to go along with it, because I feel like Torrey would protect him more by not putting that as the reason why he's off.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember which famous coach said it, and I'm going to just kind of paraphrase it a little bit because I don't have the exact quote, but he would tell his players, his team, I'm going to love you all the same, but I'm not going to treat you the same, because, there are the Michael Jordans, and then there are the rest. It's something along those lines. And so, look, if Ketel Marte is that kind of guy, that's one thing. But, I mean, to allow him to dictate, because when you play a game, that's everyone's livelihood. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going to miss practice or something like that, or get a day off from practice and not suit up like that, that's that coach's deal where I'm not going to treat everyone the same because he's unique. But for a game, dude, that's everyone's livelihood.
Well, Coop, real quick, because Jimmy Johnson said it a little different. He said, I treat all my players consistently inconsistent. You got to find out where you are on the totem pole.
Okay.
And what he found out was, usually you ask a dude, where do you fall on the 53-man roster? He's going to rank himself lower than he actually is. And so the other part of that equation was, You look at any dynasty, you look at any great organization, the best players are the hardest workers. And they buy into what the head coach, manager, skipper, whatever, wants. The ones that never kind of reach that potential, the best players don't buy in.
Yeah. Hey, look. I get. See, and here's the deal. I used to. It used to kind of rankle me a little bit with some of my colleagues in the media when it came to DeAndre Hopkins, because during the week, D-Hop would get those practice days off.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of them.
But yeah, and he would. And so he was being treated differently, but I think it was also because he was kind of nursing an injury. He was playing through. But on Sundays, Dale, on game day, he was always the leading pass catcher, the leading receiver in terms of yards. I mean, he was their best player. He was the guy that Kyler looked to, that he went to, that made the big plays. Who can forget the Hail Mary against the Buffalo Bills? And so, but I had colleagues in the media who made a really big stink about it.
Yep.
And because they wrote about it, because they talked about it, it became a big issue. And I'm sure it began to weigh on DeAndre and even his teammates. They can't help but hear it.
Yes.
And so, and that's where I think I would have to draw the line with the media. Hey, look, I go back to that coach who talked about it. There are certain players that you give, concessions to, but they never take game day off.
No.
And that's the difference between what Ketel Marte does and what,
Well, it's who he took off, right? It's everybody else was showing up at that stadium to face Ohtani going, this is our biggest test.
Yeah.
Let's go do this. And you got your star of your team going, I'm tired today, guys. I'm going to take this off.
And let me tell you, because it's another wide receiver, we had Michael Irvin on our team. Mm-hmm. Michael Irvin was known for his nightlife and having fun and partying.
Still is.
We did not give two hoots because on Wednesday and Thursday he was I've told anybody who listen, hardest working teammate I've ever been around in 21 years of Division I college football and 17 years in the NFL, bar none. Wow. Hardest working dude.
Wow. Wednesday,
Thursday, hardest working guy on the football field, and showed up every Sunday. I don't care what you're doing Friday. You can sleep with 20 girls if you want to sleep with 20, as long as you show up on Sunday. And you're right. Now, baseball's different because there's games almost every day.
But it's the same principle.
Right.
But what I've noticed is last year it came out after the All-Star game, what were the Diamondbacks doing? They were in a little bit of a slump. There was no talk about this 2 weeks ago when they were playing the Giants and the Colorado Rockies, and he was doing well. He's 2 for whatever going into this Washington series, 2 for 29 or whatever it was. 2 of them were game-winning home runs, don't get me wrong, but 2 for 29. What this also tells me is it's coming out now. It's because the rest of the team is trying to get out of this slump. They're working harder. They're probably bad. What's missing in that locker room? Is he not showing up to batting practice? Is he not doing this? Is he being viewed as the guy not trying to get out of this slump? And he's just lackadaisically like, ugh. That weighs on teams also. And I don't think it's a coincidence it's coming out when they're struggling and scuffling a little bit on the batting side.
Yeah. Look. There's obviously a problem that needs to be addressed. And again, I go back to last year's All-Star. I mean, we all thought it was addressed. We thought it was behind us.
Yeah, and it was
but clearly,
and then the end of the season, right? He took a couple games off on a playoff run because he fouled that ball off his shin, and stuff to that. And it was like, what is he doing? Typical things. It's interesting. It's not something that's going to be solved, but it's not going to be solved, folks. But what alarms me the most is it's coming from inside that organization.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of other things are happening, and that's where it should alarm, because that will fracture the locker room.
And one other thing, I'll forget it before you will, Coop, but there are certain guys that have to feel good to play.
And he's one of those guys.
And you can't, especially in football, but in any professional sport, you're going to have a ding here, you're going to have a ding there if you're in the middle of a grind of a season. But there are guys who I've seen in football that if everything's not perfect, then they can't suit up and play. Well, those guys don't last long.
Right.
And I would assume it's the same thing in baseball and basketball.
What do
and
they always talk
obviously
about?
hockey.
He can't steal bases anymore because his hamstrings are too tight. Stretch him out. Stretch him out. Spend some time on those bad boys and stuff to that effect. Who else in the sports in the baseball world do you hear can't do something because he's got a bad back or his hamstrings hurt or something? You don't hear that too often, is what I'm arguing.
Yeah, I remember what really excited me about the Diamondbacks' 2023 run to the World Series was that, this was a young, athletic, energetic running team.
Mm-hmm.
They ran it. Thank you. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That was their moniker. And so, anytime Carroll or McCarthy, you can even put Marte. It didn't matter. They got on base. They're looking to run.
Yeah.
They created and so even though we basically have the same roster except for McCarthy, no one runs.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped doing that pretty much the year after. The other thing that drives me nuts is if your hamstrings are that bad, why are you legging out doubles and triples?
Yeah, Marte on the ground, if there's like runners on the corners with one out and Marte's up to bat and he hits a ground ball to the infield, I already know it's a double play.
Yeah.
He ain't running hard.
It's like they're built-in sides of it. And the thing that is amazing about it, he's still one of the best second basemen in baseball. And that's where this dichotomy comes in.
Well, sure it is. Because, we just saw it recently. He went about a 2-week stretch where he carried the Diamondbacks offensively. And so that makes your ownership, your management team, you sit back and say, that's why we pay this guy. That's why we put up with it. Because he did. He basically was their offense. He carried this team for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He was like easily the slam dunk National League Player of the Week.
Right.
Yeah, no, and that's where I get frustrated with this. And everybody slumps. Don't get me wrong. Everybody slumps. It's just like a prolonged deal. I don't know. It's a whole nother professional athlete conversation. But it is amazing to me how many fans instantly goes after media for reporting on this and talking about it and attacking them, saying, "Oh, you just want this guy traded" and all of that stuff. Maybe it's just the media wants him to be better at what he does.
Well, I'm not going to defend media very much. I know that we're a quasi part of it, but most media people have their own agendas too.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about that.
Well, they do, because again, I mentioned the D-Hop, but another thing about the media drove me crazy was their coverage of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna tell you, I gotta tell people, I've been here since when the Cardinals got here in 1988. I was that. I'm all along with Kent Summers. We were here when they got here.
Yeah.
Dude, I can tell you about so much pathetic quarterback play with the Cardinals. It's not even funny. Matter of fact,
Brown, what are you talking about?
Matter of fact, I've even told Larry, I don't even know how you rank second in the NFL behind Rice with the quarterbacks that we've dealt with. Yeah. And without question, Kyler Murray is the most talented quarterback that's ever suited up for the Cardinals. Now, was he the best? There's some certain intangibles that he clearly doesn't have, but can be learned. And incorporated. And when I look at the numbers like this what drives me crazy. And people talk about Kyler's 7-year tenure. Well, if you do the math, he only played 5 years here. 5 years worth of game.
Injuries.
Right. And he's 38, 48, and 1. When he's not playing, the Cardinals are 5-27.
Yeah, terrible.
Dude. And so then I look at, I didn't realize this until, someone in the Republican or AZ Central posted the numbers. I didn't realize this dude's touchdown to interception ratio was 2-1. It was like 121 touchdown passes to 60 interceptions.
But he threw a lot of fourth quarter crazy interceptions.
Oh, well, yeah, say what you want. The numbers are what they are. And then he has over, 25,000 or 20,000 passing yards. He has over 3,000 rushing yards, but combined passing 121, rushing 32. That's 153 touchdowns he's responsible for in 5 years. Dude, that's a lot of production that the Cardinals have not gotten from their quarterback position. I think it was incumbent upon the Cardinals to put a better team around him. You put a better team around him, that win-loss record looks a lot different.
The 1 year that they did.
Yeah.
The 1 year that they did.
Yeah, you gave him a D-Hop, and that was D-Hop's one big healthy season.
But people still like poo-poo Carson Palmer as well.
Well,
he
here's
had
the
some
deal.
good years there.
But here's the deal. Carson Palmer had a head coach named Bruce Arians, who was different. But I want you to catch this. Carson's on the other side of 30, just like Kurt Warner was.
Yeah.
And the success rate was different because they had those certain intangibles that they didn't have when they were younger. I'm just telling you, I think that the intangibles lacking with Kyler could be manifested because there's certain things you can't teach. You can't teach his talent.
Oh yeah, I believe it was all coaching.
It could be manifested, and based on what I was hearing from Ron Wolfley, and I got to take Wolfley as word. Wolfley saw some changes relative those intangibles in terms of being a better leader, not being a guy that goes to the end of the bench and pouts and does his thing. Look, he had his faults, but I'm just telling you, from when I saw the Cardinals come on here in 1988, they even tried to roll back the clock and bring in quarterbacks like Jim McMahon, like Boomer Science.
Boomer.
Yeah. I mean, come on, dude. They would spend first-round draft picks
Tim
on
Rosenbaum.
guys. Yeah.
About Timmy.
Not only him, but guys like Matt Leinart and
your boy Rosen that you were on the table.
Josh Rosen. Yeah. It just didn't matter. I mean, they would trade for people. They would go to Dallas Cowboys and get your Steve Berline, who pay him billions. I don't say billions. But just millions of dollars come. Nothing ever worked or stuck. I was beginning to think Jake Plummer was going to be the best that we'd ever get.
Yeah.
But he couldn't even win. He had that magical year in '97, which I'll never forget. I mean, it really was one of the more exciting seasons of my year.
He's on losing end. Hey, really quick, let's take our break here because the top of the hour, we're running late. Come on back here. Diamondbacks announced, I don't know if they announced it, but rumors are out there they're signing a little young kid out there as well. We'll talk about that. We got NBA talk with you, Coop. Are you watching this series?
Oh, I'm watching.
Of course, we got some college football news, some updates around that Sorby issue here as well.
Dude, and then, that's a bad subject.
Well, good. We're going to hit it up, folks. Let's watch Bruce explode over here. Come on back. Main event with Bruce Cooper. And we're back here, second hour main event, Tuesdays with the legend, Bruce Cooper.
Something's wrong with that word.
I know you don't like it. That's the only reason I use it.
Well, you know what that means.
Because you don't like it.
It means you're old, dude.
That's the main reason.
Dude, I got stories, man. I remember sitting back on a Sunday night after the Cardinals game at Sun Devil Stadium. My dad would take me, and they were playing John Elway or somebody, and sitting in the loge seats from my dad getting the free tickets and stuffing my face with popcorn and getting home and watching you on Channel 12 afterwards.
Oh, geez, Steve, stop.
10 years old or so.
Was there some other old fogey next to
No,
him?
that was later on. I do remember those years as well.
That was good TV.
I remember the one I remember the most watching was Manuch with you guys. Was the one. Was that iteration of it as well.
The Killer D's.
There you go.
Killer D's.
Dale and Dan.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? And then you guys are sitting here next to little old me now. Hall of Famer.
20 years later, Mark Dalton's still sitting over the Cardinals.
Well, when you get your lips
Go
on
ahead.
your
All right,
boss's
let's
butt
go. There
so
you
that
go.
bad,
Okay.
it's hard to get out of that.
So
Hard to unpucker
how
from that.
about we let our guests choose which direction we go,
Yeah.
whether you want to go NBA Finals or you want to go college
Do
quarterback.
you want to talk the Diamondback signing Jin Sung Yeom?
Who?
The 17-year-old Korean phenom who plays shortstop and pitcher.
Only if he's the next Shohei Ohtani. Am I interested? But that's way
he's
too
not
early.
if the Diamondbacks are signing him. He's not. I can tell you
way
that.
too early to tell
I
now.
was just kidding. Yeah, they did announce that. But yeah, 17 years old, phenom. One of the, I guess he's number 2 in the Korean league or whatnot. And
Is that right? Okay.
Diamondbacks got the rights to him and stuff. But Jacoby Brissett, Josh Sweat at camp. Where do you want to go, Coop?
Well, let's get Sorby out of the way,
Okay.
so we can go back to the local teams.
Anger here.
Let's go back to the local teams. Finish up on our local teams.
Okay.
Yeah. Look. I'm
Well, we
sure.
probably have to explain. I know
Okay,
people
go ahead.
might not know the update
go
here,
ahead,
but
go ahead.
yesterday a judge said he could play this year, miss out the first 2
Sorsby
games.
is the quarterback for Texas
Tech. We even have to go back that far.
Yeah, he
yes.
transferred to Texas Tech this year.
Yep. And now they're Big Ten, Nebraska, and I know there's another Big Ten school saying they will not schedule Texas Tech in any sports based off of this. The Big 12 is having meetings out there. Throw up the commissioner's statement yesterday. Brent Yarmark, Big 12 commissioner, said the ramifications of today's ruling are significant, could have broad impacts across college athletics, creating great concern amongst our membership, meaning the Big 12 membership. He went on to say, I've been consulting with our key stakeholders and have scheduled a meeting with our conference AD and our executive board this week. We're also in touch with Charlie Baker and anticipate the NCAA to appeal the order in the next 24 to 48 hours. That won't happen until after the football season, so that's kind of moot there, which is why he's going to be allowed to play. But basically, this is going to be interesting when the conferences start policing themselves now moving forward and stop relying on the NCAA going forward.
Well, this isn't an NCAA problem. The NCAA ruled this guy ineligible.
Right.
He's not allowed
The
to play.
problem is that the new standard is, and we've seen this in a couple instances now, sue, get it judged to go in your favor, and then the process takes so long, you get your way.
No,
and
see,
it doesn't matter.
you're missing the point, Steve. Here's the deal, people. Sorsby played at Cincinnati. Cincinnati Bearcat. I mean, very athletic quarterback. And so the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who had one of the best teams money could buy from the portal a year ago in the college football playoffs. Well,
and they will again this year.
They went and they earmarked Sorsby as the guy that would come in and now replace their departed graduating quarterback. He'd be their new starter. So that means they ponied up a lot of money. And now they come to find out that Sorsby has been engaged in some illegal gambling. Look, Mendel and Steve, we're talking about it off air. Look, every player knows going in.
I'm not even a player, and I know it.
Yeah, you can't gamble. You can't do it. Yeah. This dude did it for 4 years. Now, give him credit for doing this much. He says, I have a problem. I'm an addict. So he's seeking help. But that should not validate or allow him to play now. The NCAA ruled 2 different times because they appealed. They said no. And so this dude can now, based on a Texas judge, people.
A Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah. And get this in mind. I guarantee you their big money boosters in Red Raider country are slipping this dude some money to make this ruling.
Oh, no. It's even worse than that. They're just paying. They have more powerful attorneys than the NCAA has.
Well, I'm sure.
They're not paying. I'm not going to go so far as they're paying somebody else.
I'm sure there's some influence in there, whether it's money or whatever.
Well, what they ruled yesterday was that gambling's now legal as long as you can sue to get to play for a year.
No. Well,
that's what they just did.
Well, here's the deal. They said this is what the judge ruled. This is what he said. He was convinced by Sorby's lawyers that this would cause irreparable harm to this guy's future.
And
what the freak, man? Are you freaking kidding me? Man, I about fell out of my chair when I read that. man, I'm
Well,
about ready to start.
Dale brought this up. He's a first-round talent, right? A first top second-round talent. What if he couldn't play college football this year and he goes in the supplemental draft? Who's taking a chance on him in a high draft pick position?
Well, not in a high draft pick position.
So
no.
you all of a sudden he's slipping down to third, fourth, fifth round
so
because of the gambling worries.
You're
so
allowed.
irreparably harmed, Coop.
And this is why I don't blame any of the conferences, any of the coaches, anything out there like that. What you're saying is that you can break the rules, and if you have certain stature, or if
that's exactly what it's saying.
you can now play. And that is so freaking wrong, man.
You want to go a
Coop,
step farther?
Well, hold on, Coop. There's two things at issue here, and there's many more, but two main issues to me. The NCAA is somewhat powerless in all this. Now, they come up with the rules, and it reminds me so much because I stood up for the AIA in a lot of situations over the years in Arizona. Because, again, if a family has money, all you have to do is say, I'm going to sue. And it doesn't have $5 million in its coffers with a high-powered attorney to fight all whatever cases there are.
Or in some case, like Sorora's case last year, 7 different cases.
You know,
and
so all they have to do is threaten a lawsuit, and now that entity is kind of helpless, rendered helpless. But what's going to be fascinating about this, now again, I think some colleges just start, we're not going to schedule.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
A Big Ten school saying that doesn't
really
matter.
But if your conference, the Big 12 conference is now meeting, if they start wrangling in their own, now you've got some power.
Well, Dale, I don't think that your mark can do that. I just don't think that even the Big 12. I think
you would hurt yourself if you don't play.
Yeah,
Texas
I think what is important here when you have SEC and the Big 10, and then there'll be other conferences like the ACC. They'll say, if they say we're not going to schedule Texas Tech, and get this, Dale, in any sport.
Yeah, that's what Nebraska said.
It's major.
Yeah,
it's major. That's how you make. And so you force Texas Tech now to come back and say, look, man, it's just not in the best. Look, I can give you a situation with a Brophy player. I'm not going to give you any names.
Yeah.
But Brophy, they had. I'm going to do my best not to use any names. But as people know, as people know, there are some influential parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of stature there. Well, a kid on the team. I'll just put it like this. Not even trying to.
Don't even tell me a sport.
Okay, and it's football. Okay. Now here's the deal. He was ruled ineligible. Went to court, got an injunction that allowed the kid to play. AIA came back and said, okay, he can play. But when this thing goes to court, and if it comes back and it's ruled in our favor,
you lose everything.
Yeah, every one of your games he played in is going to be vacated. But beyond that, we're going to attach probation going forward.
Right.
And so now that brought it back to the team. It went. The head coach went to the team and says, hey, this is what we're looking at. What do you want to do? There's one guy. We have 85 guys on our roster.
Right.
Are we all in for the one guy, or are 85 guys on this team also have interest and want to play beyond this year? Yeah. And so they voted no. And so now let's go back to Sorby.
Right.
If you are put in not the exact same situation, but a similar situation where conferences refuse to schedule not just football, but every sport.
Yeah, but let's not just say conferences. Let's say the individual schools in the conference.
Well, I don't think they can. I think the Big 12 is excluded.
No,
here.
but 10 of the 12 schools say we don't like this. We're voting against it.
Okay.
And then you don't have any teeth behind. You go Texas Tech, play him. We'll play you against him, but. This is how we're going to act going forward.
I don't think that the Big 12,
you
even though they could say we don't like it, where every school is unanimous in saying we don't like it. I think the biggest
they have rules on.
I think the biggest influence will come outside of the conference from the other 3 power conference schools.
I
really
agree
do.
100% because then you're not getting the same out of conference games and all your sports. You're not getting all of that stuff out there as well. And it's fascinating because I agree with you. I mean, you're going to hurt yourself if you're Arizona State or Utah and you're like, oh, we're not playing Tech. All you're doing is hurting yourself in that scenario. What are you going to do? Forfeit those games? You have to play your conference games.
Yeah, and again, the thing I hate about it the most is that you have rules that are in place. Yeah. Everyone knows that everyone is under the same umbrella relative to rules of gambling. And Dale was talking about it beforehand. Not only is it plastered all over the walls in your locker room and in the athletic department, but they even bring in speakers to talk to you as a big group, a team
before
about
the season starts.
Yeah, and yet this dude for 4 years. When I did no,
it's even deeper than that, though, Coop. That you're not even delving down into this level. Texas Tech didn't just sign him, and all of a sudden everybody went, "What? He's got a gambling problem." Cincinnati was right. He transferred from Cincinnati to go to Texas Tech. They were mad about it.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that this doesn't lead to you the thoughts that Cincinnati knew about these gambling problems, and because he thwarted them and went there for the bigger payday in conference. That somebody at Cincinnati didn't start making phone calls.
And
saying, "Hey, this kid's had a gambling problem."
I hadn't thought about that, but you're
so now you got the NIL threat of if you're not on the up and up and you want to leave this school, go ahead and leave the school.
Yeah.
What we know about
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. Cincinnati's been sitting on this.
They had to have been. Because why would Indiana sit on it? Indiana could have done it to Cincinnati, right? After he left Indiana.
But why?
That's the argument. But this is where, to my mind, it goes. This is where the NIL gets dirty, is how much dirt do you have on that kid now to keep him there or ruin his future if he leaves your program?
Sorby ruined his own future.
Well, and that's to me, it boils down to this. There are some, I'm just going to keep it local here in Arizona. It happens in every state, but Arizona. There are some gray area transfers. Hey, the dad got moved from one side of the valley to the other, his job, or from Tucson to here, or wherever.
California to here.
You know, there's some gray areas in some things. And then there are black and white. And gambling is black and white. It's not a question of, boy, well, no, he was just doing it for fun. It wasn't even really money. Right. It was just, he was on some silly site, or
he was betting $5 at a time. It wasn't.
It's not black and white. So why can't they enforce that? And if you can't enforce this, what can you enforce if you're that sick?
Yeah. Look. Again, I think we were talking off camera here, and we talked about how the ASU basketball program, Stephen Headache Smith, spent hard time in prison because of his gambling issues. We've seen with the Diamondbacks again, keeping it local. A minor league player, Saul Frank, he was suspended for a year. Dude, everyone knows the rules.
The NFL players, if they open the app on a team plane, get turned in and get suspended. We've seen that happen in the locker room. We need team function. And if you just open the app and it sends a signal where you are, the apps will turn you in. That's the thing. I don't disagree, but to me, it's a bigger story. Should he be playing? I don't think so. But what this tells me is two things. One, you got enough money.
Yeah,
go to the courts and get it passed and everything. And number one, but then number two, my biggest concern on this is the dirt that these schools have on these kids. And are you going to start seeing the backside of it? Go ahead, transfer. Go make a couple extra mil there, and we'll see if you play.
Yeah, like the AIA used to tell me, the reason why they were so hard-rooted in their rules is because they were told by their attorneys, if they allow one,
if they blink
it all, Pandora's box, then you no longer can keep everyone out from that umbrella.
They say that all the time. I'm on my HOA board, and they're like, no, you have to do everything the same. If you treat somebody different, you just open yourself up to everybody doing everything.
Absolutely. And so with the NCAA, they have a hard-lined policy against gambling. It's all laid out. And for this dude, and this is why the NCAA is going to appeal anyway. But as you guys, if everybody knows, you guys are hurt. By the time that comes to court, the season would have already been played, and so it's moot at that point. So that's why it's very important for the conferences to do what they're doing. People have to have they have to say no. There, one player in one school ain't bigger than the whole
No.
lot. No.
I agree.
It's an amazing story to follow, and just the Wild West of college sports right now. Kind of what we're seeing there. It's always a new thing that comes out as well. When we come back here on the main event, let's get into it. NFL talk.
It's not 9:30 yet. I want to squeeze one little thing in real quick.
Okay.
Because I was reading an article.
I thought it said 9:35.
About your guy Ketel Marte, and they talk about a guy named Freddie Freeman. You'd say Freddie Freeman's the leader, right? Older guy
from the Dodgers.
Yeah, but when he was
formerly with Atlanta
when he
Braves.
was with Atlanta, story went Freddie Freeman was playing for Atlanta. There was a guy in the trainer's room, and he wouldn't be in the starting lineup. Freddie would say, "Oh, you're going on the injured list," and he'd say, "No, I'm just taking a day off." Freddie goes, "Either you play or you go on IL right now. I'll take care of that."
Well,
who on the Diamondbacks can do that?
They don't have that guy.
No.
They don't have a Freddie Freeman. I like that story.
Yeah.
That was when he was in Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah. I guarantee you that Dodgers locker room is worked that way as well.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you with all the superstars they have in there, I guarantee you if a guy is slacking, they police it themselves inside that locker room. But I want to just stress on this. I think the Diamondbacks don't have that.
No.
Because they know they're not allowed to speak like that. They get shut down by the manager / GM, whoever it is that oversees
they just don't have
it.
a personnel.
But like Dale said, if they back in the day, if they had the Gonzos, the
They would have done
Graces,
it in 2 seconds.
Randy Johnsons,
But it never would have gone public back then because they would have policed it. The fact that it's coming out is the problem.
And they would not have gone to Brenly and say, "Hey, do you mind if I talk to him?"
Exactly.
He'd have been talked to. Brenly had been sitting in his office going, "Thank you."
I heard stories about on Randy Johnson's pitching day, like he wanted to choose the music and you weren't allowed to talk to him.
Dude, that's
and
true.
Stuff like that.
That's
No,
true.
but I heard stories where in that locker room, players would tell other players, like, "Hey, he's pitching today. Leave him alone."
Right.
On the days he wasn't pitching, they would tell Randy to, and I'm sure they'd say it in a nicer term, but they'd be like, "Shut up, Randy. You have nothing to do with
How
today."
about Randy didn't
Get outta
really
here.
do those on
Yeah, no, but
pitching
if he
days.
started I've heard stories where he kind of like did things on his off days, and people would be like, "Today's not your day, Randy.
No.
Move on with your life. We're dealing with this type of a thing." And it's just like, so you can play those games in there, and I just don't think. But to me, say what you want about Marte and taking it off. We all know I have a problem with it. But the biggest problem that I have right now with it is it's out in the media again. And if you had a strong locker room and you had strong management in there, this would not have gotten out of the locker room because somebody would have felt they were being listened to, been affected about it. And one person doesn't just go put this out there. He's probably got 3, 4, 5 buddies on that team also having an issue with it. And he's the one that went to the media, or maybe multiple people did, to talk about it. That's the biggest concerning thing to me, because that could tear a locker room apart. When everybody now is going around the locker room going, "Who's saying this? Who's saying this?"
Yeah, and see, they went to a veteran media member like
guy who's-
Nightingale,
and who's not there
who
every
they
day.
can trust, who they can
Yes.
trust.
Not a local guy.
Yeah, who's not going to give out any
Which,
sources.
you know what that also tells me? That also tells me it was a veteran player that did this.
Of which there are not a whole lot.
Yeah,
You can narrow it down.
Dale's right about that.
Because a veteran player who's been around the league has the history with Bob Nightingale and multiple times and things to that effect. A youngster knows mostly local media and things like that, which tells me the guy that said it is somebody that's probably been around the league a long time.
You know, and I know you got to go to break, but beyond that, man, I am really chapped that Corbin Burns has this setback.
We haven't talked to you about that,
because we have to keep Zach Gallen now.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Well,
dude, I was ready to trade Gallen.
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing that they did. They claimed they were going to do it beforehand. I don't believe it. They sent Fott down to restretch out again. I believe Zach Gallen is on a short leash coming up here.
Well, he pitches today.
He does. But I think they're sending Fott down almost like that message thing, right? When you're struggling on the mound, they put a guy up to warm up, and the pitcher sees him, and they're like, "Oh, I better start pitching better."
Well, everyone's pitching well except for Gallen.
I know. So that's my point. So they sent Fott down to work on some things, restretch out. If Gallen doesn't start going sooner, I have a feeling a move's going to be made, whether trade or something.
I don't know.
like that.
I have a tough time with seeing them deal him at the deadline now, based on what we know
with
from,
Corbin out.
Yeah.
What if they went and got Scooble? Sorry. I try to say it without laughing. Well, really quick on that. I mean, the problem with everybody saying, go get Scooble. He's from here. You might get a discount. 1 year, $37 million deal. Don't forget, there's a really, really, really good chance there's no baseball next year. And coming out of whatever the negotiations are, you're going to see a lot of teams trying to unload some high-priced guys at the trade deadline here coming up, even teams that are bad, because they want to be in a position to make a move after a salary cap's put in or whatever happens coming up here. So who's going to take a chance on a guy like Scooble? 1 year, $37 million, but then he's a free agent. But you don't know if you're going to be able to afford him.
The Dodgers.
Well, for this year, yeah, absolutely. This year, I think the Yankees.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be fascinating next year, Coop. I know you're well aware of this. The Player Association has said over our dead bodies, will there ever be a salary cap in baseball? And they usually, they've always won it. Sometimes takes longer than others, but better enjoy the second half of this season after you get up to older, because you're going to see baseball for a while.
I brought this up earlier in the week as we go to break here. Think about this. Corbin Burns doesn't pitch this year at all. Let's say he just doesn't. He's trying to get back in September. Think about how long it's going to be since he pitched in a Major League Baseball game. Let's just assume no baseball next year, at all. Let's just assume none at all next year. Just think about this, and when we come back, we'll get Coop's answer. How long will it be since a guy who's in his early 30s right now has pitched a game in baseball because of the injury and the lockout coming up? Come on back, folks. Main event. Back here, main events with Bruce Cooper here on this Tuesday. So, Coop, I asked you to do some math. Corbin Burns injury. He says he wants to come back in September. I think it's super important that he comes back and pitches in a few games, because let's just assume no baseball next year, and he comes back the year after that. He's, 31 years old right now, 31, 32. That puts him on the 35 time frame when he does come back and pitch on that. But how many years would that be if Corbin Burns not pitching in a Major League Baseball game?
But
3 years or so, yeah.
Well, first of all, they will play baseball at some point next year. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, because here's what usually happens. And I know when players start missing game checks,
oh yeah,
they start to panic a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and when owners start
missing TV payments.
Yeah,
they miss the playoff money, because that's the bigger money for them. They get the TV money regardless if there's a season or not.
No, there's language.
Did they change it now?
Yeah, there's language
they
in there
changed
that
it? Okay.
protects the network against.
But they want that playoff money.
Yeah, well, look. They one thing I'm finding out: billionaires are never satisfied with what they want. They want more.
Well, yeah, that's why they're greedy. Some guys. That's why they're there.
And so once money is starting to be lost on both sides, particularly on the player side, you'll have some type of an agreement. Now, then it becomes incumbent upon baseball to figure out how do we reschedule and play games and have
with the shortened season.
Shortened season, and have it fair enough for people to qualify for their certain divisions and things like that. So that becomes they always work that out.
I believe we'll have it after the All-Star game. I believe is when they'll get serious about it. But I'll even go a step farther. There will not be a salary cap next year. But there will be something that mirrors a salary cap that we're not going to call it a salary cap.
Absolutely.
Because the players are not going to do a salary cap, but you call it a Bowery wrap.
Most of the owners want one, save the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, those kind of. But most of the owners want one. So there's going to be some form of one, but it's just where does that? Yeah. How high does it go?
I say let the Mets keep paying Juan Soto $60 million a year for him not to run out ground balls every night.
Oh, wow. Hey, real quick before we move on to your next subject, Steve, I got a question for Steve. We found out last night the teams headed to the College World Series in Omaha. There's 8 of them.
Five from the SEC, right?
Oh, there's 5 from the SEC.
I believe that's a record, Dale.
That's more than 50%, right, Coop?
It would be.
Yeah. And now they're going to put 4 of them in one. They can only put 4 of them on one side of the bracket, so only one of those 4 can come out.
Yeah, slackers. If they were good, more of them would make it, Dale.
Well, Dale, here's the deal. When you get, of your 16 teams, when they give you 11, 12 in there.
Yeah. That's the thing. Your odds are better.
It works to your favor.
Yeah, but do they give it to them or do they earn it?
No, they get half of them.
Dale, let me put it to you like this. Before the Pac-12 kind of exploded and blew up, your baseball powers were always in the West. I mean, you can look at it right now. The USC Trojans still have the most. Mm-hmm. I think LSU has now climbed to second, and they've done that just since the calendar has turned to the year 2000. You had Arizona State, Arizona, Texas. You look at the top 5 teams. There's only one from the There's only one Oregon. From the SEC in there, and that's LSU. And that came now. Clearly, the SEC wants to be regarded as the best because the same thing took place in college softball, where UCLA had like 12 of them. I think the Arizona Wildcats had 8. Even Arizona State had 2. I mean, the Pac-12 was low. It was always in the West. Now, Oklahoma has pushed itself into that conversation, but they're far from the SEC until their recent realignment. Okay,
that was all done beforehand.
Yeah. But so I think Patty Gassel now has Oklahoma up to 8. But all your baseball titles and powers was in the West. But the SEC, when they decided that they wanted to be a power in everything, and I go back to even Pete Carroll when he was at SEC with Reggie Bush, they were dominating not only Heisman trophies but winning titles. The SEC hammered USC so severely, the NCAA did, and I'm sure it was influenced from the SEC.
It's because they argued with them instead of
they hammered them so badly. I mean, this was what they gave SC was worse than the SMU death penalty.
Who can I blame the SMU Mustangs penalty on?
Yeah. But at any rate. Okay,
Texas.
so you went
because you fought the system. That's why.
Yeah, I went along with what the NCAA had done with Reggie Bush until some dude named Cam Newton at Auburn. You can't even argue and make excuses, but they did for them. Auburn was able to play, and so all they did was say. I remember Pat Hayden was the AD at USC at the time because I'm sitting behind my desk and I actually ran his soundbite. The NCAA ruled that Cam Newton and Auburn didn't know what his father was doing.
They had no clue what his father was doing.
So what they did is they precluded his father from going to any games. And yet, I want you to know this. I'm at the Auburn-Oregon National Championship game at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, and Guess who Cam Newton, after winning the title, goes up to the stands to hug? His dad.
Well,
his dad. Yeah. I mean, and so Pat.
It means more in the SEC, too.
I ran this soundbite with Pat Hayden. He says, "Hey, can we go and say that Reggie and us didn't know what his parents were doing? Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?" I mean, dude. And so I already knew then there's something truly called an SEC bias.
Well, Coop, don't you understand? 2 wrongs don't make a right.
I do. And so look, I'll give the SEC all the credit in the world for putting money into their conferences and their teams to become the elite of the elite.
They stack it. They just stack it against it to where they do it to where it's like, we're going to get these teams in and you're going to like it, whether you like it or even if they don't deserve. Well, you said the NCAA tournament. They get 3/4 of their conference in. Half their conference has losing conference records, and they get into the tournament. And then they get blown out in the first week. But they get that extra money, and it's all part of the game to where we deserve to be in there. No, you don't. But you just want the money.
Billy, you sound
all
like
I'm
the New York
say
Knicks
is,
head coach last night complaining about the lack of fouls.
If the SEC was good, they'd get more than just Ole Miss or one of the Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, Georgia teams into the College World Series. SEC sucks. They're only going to get maybe 2 of those teams in. Garbage conference.
Well, and then
got to be better than that.
You know that we talked about it real quick. The fact that the SEC split or gave each member school over $70 million from the TV contract. Big 12, 30-ish million dollars.
It was 36. So let's not short it, Dale.
You have the have and the have-nots, sure.
But anyway,
SEC runs ESPN.
They are. They are aligned with ESPN for that because I get ESPN Plus, and so in ESPN Plus, when you go to try to get at the games, they also have the SEC network, and so those are all ESPN.
You have to scroll
games.
through all that stuff. Yeah. No, I mean the SEC. Part of the reason they didn't expand in this last wave of expansion was ESPN was like, we're not going to pay you extra money to expand. So the SEC went, okay, we're not going to expand then. Yeah. They just work hand in hand. It's disgusting.
I love me some SEC.
Disgusting.
I love greatness, Scoop.
Watch the bottom bracket of the College World Series.
I don't mind. I'm not complaining from this standpoint because I'll watch games.
It'll be good.
But here's the deal. When it came to football, there was just Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, and every other school in the conference lived off of those 2 reputations. Every now and then, LSU would pop up and do something, but that was it. So, I mean, if you're in the SEC, you get anointed as being a great team because you're in there with
Vanderbilt.
I don't know. Did Florida win a couple national championships?
But how many years ago?
15.
That was during I remember during the Steve Spurrier years. And they weren't dominant then. But then you had the Tim Tebow. Yeah. That maniacal fandom.
Hey, you get players that kill people on the field. People tend to not want to play them very much.
He didn't go with Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, he went straight to Aaron Hernandez.
That guy would be like, I'm going to kill you. And all of a sudden everybody's like, I'm out.
Wow, the jealousy is...
no jealousy. It's double standard
there is a bias. I do understand that. But look, that conference, they do put a lot of money in those teams.
Their facilities are top notch. Sure. Anyway, I just brought that up because I know it rankles him.
I saw that yesterday, that the most ever, and I was all...
Yeah.
Time to move on. I'm going to go take a nap now, is what I did.
And here's the deal. Not any one of those teams that are in SEC has ever won a national championship.
No. Yeah. It's the first year in forever that there's not a repeat team going to the College World Series.
So Georgia's in. They've never won a national championship. Alabama's in. They've never won a national championship. Ole Miss is in. They've never won a national championship.
Texas has been 39 times now, I think.
But see, that doesn't count. Yeah. Because they won all that stuff when they were in the Big 12.
I know. But that's what I'm saying, though. They've been 39.
What about that powerhouse Troy? Did Troy make it in? No. They got knocked out? Oh, I thought.
No, Troy's in.
Troy's in, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. They did get in. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I think Troy.
I was thinking Cal Poly. They beat Little Rock. They're in.
I think they open up against North Carolina or something like that.
Yeah, they're going to get destroyed.
That's what everybody said this past weekend, too. Look out for Troy.
They played Little Rock. North Carolina and West Virginia are beasts of teams.
Boy,
man.
Arizona State sitting at home, and the Troy. What are we figuring?
First team ever with 30 losses to make the College World Series. Coop.
Troy Trojans.
Hey, look,
Troy Trojans. Yeah.
Look, between Arizona and Arizona State, they have 9 national championships in baseball. And I'm embarrassed to say how many times Arizona State has finished runner-up.
Yeah, they should have won more.
Yeah, but Coop, that's when you had a full head of hair. You had abs.
No, that's when there was no SEC influence in mine.
Yeah.
No ESPN bias.
And look, it all factors in. I mean, the West, you can pretty much play baseball year round. That wasn't necessarily the case in the Midwest and the East and some things like that. So look, we all got it. We all understood it. But look, right now, the balance of power is definitely shifted, especially after the Pac-12 exploded and the Big Ten bought the best of the Pac-12 and the USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Are you freaking kidding me?
They didn't just buy the best of it; they bought the biggest influencing part.
Yeah,
and then
the SEC went after the Texas and the Oklahomas.
And I think the Big
stripped
10
them from the Big 12.
And I think the Big 12 is playing with fire. You're seeing it up in Utah right now with these private equity firms. Utah went in with a private equity firm. Now they're doing layoffs, leaving Under Armour, kind of go to doing all that stuff. Private equity firms are going to ruin these teams trying to compete as well. From that side, on the NBA side, I got a trivia for you here. I asked Dale this earlier. It's nauseating. How long has it been since the Suns played?
Since the Suns played in the finals?
Yeah, no, just played it all. It feels like it's been like a year, right?
Probably sometime in late April.
In April, yeah, okay.
Late April.
No, let's talk some Suns here. Maybe. First time in finals history, the road team has won the first 3 games. The other time came.
Oh, I was there. You said I was there in '93 when the Bulls walked into Phoenix. They won the first 2 games in Phoenix. And the fans were all over Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was having a terrible series. Charles Barkley went into the postgame and he berated the media and the fans and told them to get off KJ's ass. They went to Chicago. They went to Chicago. KJ, and I believe it was a double overtime game or something. He played like probably every minute of the game.
50 minutes.
Over 50 minutes. And the Suns won that game. I think KJ played probably like 53 of the 58 minutes. The Suns won that game. And so now it's 2-1. The Bulls came back and won game 4. And then so now everyone's expecting the Bulls to maybe complete it in Chicago. Yeah. They have all the parade routes and everything all set up. The Suns went in there, and Charles Barkley, his famous quote afterwards, "We saved the city of Chicago." We had to save Chicago, and so he came here to Phoenix. Now it's 3-2. The next 2 games are in Phoenix. Suns have a lead late, and they're starting to choke it away. And I'll be damned.
Danny Ainge forgets how to play defense.
Yeah, I mean John Paxson, dude, that still hurts me.
Yeah.
That still hurts me.
Everybody gives John Paxson the credit. I could blame Danny Ainge.
Well, Danny Ainge, sir, he certainly left. He certainly left his man.
Left him alone and let him out there. But yeah, that was the last time, the only other time in finals history that's happened.
I still remember whether it was the following year or whatever when Steve Kerr hit the game-winning shot to win the series. I forget who was that against. Who was that against?
Well, I tell you, there's
94 had been Utah.
There's only been 2 shots that have really killed me.
Yeah.
Mario Ellie.
Oh.
And the Kiss of Death 3.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what was so bad. Because in 94, because now Michael Jordan's all retired now. He's gone to play baseball. So now they had just beat the Suns in 93.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we got this. Mm-hmm. The Suns go to Houston, and I'm there. They won the first 2 games in Houston in 94. We're talking about the semifinals now.
Yeah.
And so I remember coming through that Houston airport, and I just happened to see, because back in the day, you could slip a quarter in and you could pull the lever down and you could take a newspaper out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So I do
what
that.
What is this contraption?
Because the headline says Choke City. They're calling Houston Choke City. I took that newspaper, so I knew I was coming back to the stage back in Phoenix, and I used it as a prop on the set, you know. And so there's no way Phoenix is going to lose this because now they're coming back.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Next 2 games. And I'll be damned if the Suns Charles Barkley, he can say what he wants. This dude is melting down in clutch situations.
He admits it now.
He really – so I'll be damned if there's a Game 7, and sure enough, it's in Houston, and Houston wins. So I'm coming through that same airport coming back to Phoenix with my hit. So now I see the same little newspaper deal. Got to put a quarter in, pull it down, take the paper out because it now says Clutch City.
Yeah.
Okay. So now in '95, the Suns go out and they say, okay, Jerry signs some dude named Danny Manning. Suns are off to some record. A record like the Thunder and the Bulls putting together. Manning tears his ACL.
Yeah.
So the Suns now have to reconnoiter. They're not that dominant team that they were, but they still. They're playing the Rockets again because they just blew and I should mention this. Suns went up 3-1 because they split in Phoenix. So they won the first 2 in Houston. They split in Phoenix. They're up 3-1, and they lost in 7 games. All right, so here's the deal. 95 now, they're playing the same Bulls. Suns now, they have the best record, and so they have home court advantage. When the first 2 in Phoenix, split in Houston, the Suns are up 3-1.
Coming home.
Yeah. Game 7 now is in Phoenix. And I'll be damned. Suns have this 2-point lead. And it's final seconds. They kicked the ball to some dude named Mario Ellie. He hit a 3. Kiss of death. Dude, that haunts me to this day.
You're talking about it like we're talking about a game last night.
I know.
It's etched in my memory. It hurt me to my core. Just like John Paxson. Paxson and Mario Ellie, within like a 3-year span, they took my soul.
Well, the story I'll tell real quick, Steve Kerr hit the game-winning shot. It was one of those years that Bulls won the championship.
Right.
And Michael Jordan passed it to him.
Right.
And it's a big parade and all that. They got up and spoke, and Steve Kerr got up, and he's talking. He said, all right, I'm just going to lay it to rest, give you the real scoop on what happened on that last play. So we're sitting down. Phil says, hey, I'm not real I want Michael Jordan to take the last shot. And Michael looks at Phil and says, Coach, I'm not real comfortable taking the last shot. But why don't we give it to Steve? And they're all up there laughing their tails off. And he goes, and so we drew up the play for me to take the last shot. I make it. The rest is history. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, let's put it to you like this. It didn't happen from 91, 92, and 93 when their first 3 peaked.
Okay, so it might have been 96.
So in 94 and 95, it was the Houston Rockets.
Right.
When the Suns should have been that guy.
Yes.
So Jordan comes back 96, 97, 98. So it was one of those 3, the second 3-peat that Kerr did his thing.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
No, I remember that very well. Yeah, I think they're in the park there in Chicago when I said as well.
Damn, that hurts me.
Robert said, wasn't Ainge covering Barkley's guy under the basket? No, he slid over. If I remember correctly, he slid over and was double teaming the guy on the outside wing there at the 3-point line, and he didn't follow his guy over. I could be wrong on that, but I remember him being outside. Then he ran late over to Paxton and tried to try to weigh down some air on him or something to cool him down.
Well, he might be right. It was either Barkley or Ainge.
Yeah.
Ainge that left.
Ainge definitely left his guy, and that was Paxton getting it. I just don't remember if he went low. I always remember him staying high, but again, I don't. It's one of those things I can picture it, but then you also forget over the years as well. And then Robert says the SEC was ahead of the curve. They implemented NIL 20 plus years ago. Yeah, but it's easier to do NIL when you're the only ones doing it. And then he also says, I know you guys don't like him. I won't speak for everybody else, but yeah, Matt Williams is not a nice human being. But he said Matt Williams ran that locker room. He's the reason nobody pumped in a home run. They all ran around the bases and things. So, yeah. I mean, Matt.
They had some leaders on that team.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it all on him. I know that they had some problems with Matt Williams over the years, too.
Yeah, Matt
he had to be talked to a few times.
Matt wasn't the easiest guy to deal with.
Did I ever tell you the story?
I've heard this story. Yeah, this is my favorite story ever.
Because
it sums it up.
I think it's Steve Berline's getting married out here. And he played with Dallas Cowboys. And he invited a bunch of the Cowboy guys. So a lot of them were coming out to the wedding for the weekend. I have everybody over to my house. We golf and call a country club, then come over to my house. I'm grilling steaks and chicken and whatever. I don't know. With wives, there's probably 30 people there. And, cooking and drinking and having fun and enjoying ourselves. And I walk into my house, and sitting at my kitchen table is Matt frickin' Williams.
Matt Williams?
And I'm like, I look at him and I go, I really wasn't sure who it was because this is 95, 96.
Oh, so that was okay.
And I go, it wasn't
So he was
when
with
after he
Cleveland.
was here.
He
And
was
I'm
at
like,
Cleveland, yeah.
I literally said, "Who are you?" He stood up, said, "I'm Matt Williams." Very serious, like, "What are you doing at my house?" And one of the Cowboys guys knew him and invited him, and that's when he was dating the girl from the movie.
The one he ended up marrying, and then he get mad at everybody that brought up her nude scene.
The Blue Lagoon or whatever the movie.
I know for a fact that in the locker room one time they had that playing on loop, and he lost his mind.
They also would do it in the hotel.
Yeah, yes, he would lose his mind.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Well, I didn't know that story. That's an interesting
Yeah,
story.
isn't that funny though? He's just sitting there. It seems like a Matt Williams.
Yeah, just sitting at my kitchen table. Come on, man.
Hey, really quick, Diamondbacks tonight, Miami series. Miami's not, your dad's Miami team, just meaning they're not the bad team they normally are. What did the Diamondbacks got to do on these bats, Scoop, to wake up in this series? So after this, you got Cincinnati, who's not a bad team this year.
No, hey, look. I mean, they have to jump out. And here's the deal: if you notice that they fall behind early every freaking game, they really do.
Yeah, 1-0, 2-0 in the first.
Yeah,
inning.
yeah, it's just
second inning.
unbelievable. And so, they have to get off to a better start for one. And I don't know what the situation is that I like. I mean, there was a time when the Diamondbacks could get runners at second and third or on the corners, less than 2 outs, and they couldn't get runners in.
Yes, lots of runners left on scoring.
Now they can't even get those runners on base.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh,
That was my biggest
going on?
complaint for the longest time is runners in scoring 2 for 29, 2 for 24 for the Diamondbacks.
Now, they can't even get them on now.
Now it's like 2 for 4 because they never have anybody on second.
I mean,
base.
it's
I know.
like, wow, man. And here's the deal. I mean, I've seen slumps, but this is a team slump.
But this
I
is
mean,
what they
everybody.
do. This is what Torey Lovello's team. Remember the World Series year? That July was the most atrocious July you've ever seen baseball players go through. Last year, I believe it was May timeframe, end of May, beginning of June timeframe. Then with that big slump, this is what Torey teams do. They go into these giant slumps and can't get out of them for a long time as well. So I was just curious what you thought on that. Interesting enough, the MajorLeagueBaseball.com top trade prospects for each individual team. Steve Gilbert lists Jordan Lawler as the trade guy this season.
No, I'm not trading Jordan Lawler. Not trading Jordan. Hey, look,
you can get depth.
No,
You don't have to sign steroid guys.
No. The guys that I'm trading, Lourdes Gurriel, and I'm also probably going to trade Pavin Smith.
You've got Pavin Smith being on this team just disgusts me.
There is no reason. There is no reason to trade a young stud like Jordan Lawler. I mean, this guy, you're finally going to give him consistent playing time,
even though he's injury prone.
No, look. He. But
I agree.
Every one of his injuries have been legitimate. And yeah, you could say he's
But-
injury prone. And
But
yeah, I agree with that.
his injuries are happening because he's putting effort out there.
Yeah. Look, he's getting hit. He's getting hit by pitches and things like
Well,
that.
he pulled his hamstring last year, getting a triple or double or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's effort or bad luck that's getting the injuries. So I agree with you on that.
I got to believe that at some point he's going to be able to put that behind him, and maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself, trying to make the big league roster. But he came out of it with the big, and he was starting and was doing well.
Well, last year they didn't give him a chance. They called him up and he got like 3 at bats in like 40 games.
Yeah, and then made a pinch run.
I just found it interesting that Steve Gilbert said that because I'm seeing names like Gurriel, I'm seeing names, Gallen, I'm seeing those types of names, and Steve Gilbert saying, but a lot of that has to do with the outfield depth that they have.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I'm going. This is what I'm doing. I'm going Corbin Carroll in right, Jordan Lawler in center, and Ryan Waldschmidt in left, and my reserve outfielders are going to be Tommy Troy and if I have to use Barossa in there, but Barossa might be the guy might be the guy that goes down.
He's the guy. He's the odd man out. He's like Tawa. He's just an odd man out right now. My problem with Troy in that position is I feel like he needs
more consistent
at
at
bats and stuff like that. That's my problem with keeping him there, which I guess is why you could keep Gurriel as a DH. Gurriel is a DH.
Gurriel is gone.
I don't
dude.
disagree with
He's
you.
gone.
I don't disagree with you, but him and Pavin Smith. Fernandez, they say Fernandez hit a wall. That's why he had to go down. Well, he hit a wall because you weren't playing him anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't playing consistently.
You're sitting him down at that
all of a
point.
sudden, the time that he was getting was going to Ildemaro Vargas. Because Vargas,
Rightfully so.
look, the guy got on a. I mean, he was National League Player of the Month.
The bigger
He was
problem for
hitting-
Fernandez is he's better at third base, and Arenado woke up, and you're not benching Arenado, for Fernandez when he's playing that well. First base was kind of where he was going to have to find that, and he kind of got overtaken by Vargas.
Yeah, look, I want to see the Diamondbacks have some young talent.
Yeah, play
That
him.
the only and they need to play. They need to be on the big league roster, getting this experience as you make your way through this this playoff chase or postseason that's coming up. They need that experience. I'm not interested in giving that time to Gurriel. I'm not interested in giving that time to Smith, and certainly not Santana. I mean, I don't know why they're keeping him on a 60-man roster. Man, just DFA the dude
He's what,
now.
$1.5 million this year or something.
Yeah, I mean,
God,
it's
you waste
not
more money.
just DFA the dude.
It's a cup
Stop
of
it.
coffee.
I'll buy
I'll
buy $1.5 million worth of nachos at the stadium to support that move. Really quick before we take off, officially, Jacoby Brissett and Josh Sweat showed up to mandatory OTAs yesterday. Now we don't know. I think Brissett's going to be a hold in. I'm going to assume Josh Sweat is going to be.
So we don't know.
also.
In no report if they
Not-
both
not as-
participated today.
Practice was today. Is this
Yesterday
morning,
was just
so.
show up and do whatever day and stuff. So so we'll have to find out. No reporting. I just did a search. No reporting on if they were actually on the field out there.
All right. Well, we can obviously that's a story that's going to be around for all summer, so we can figure
No,
out.
they're not going. They're going to. It's going to go to training camp.
Right, that's what I'm
For
saying. All summer.
Jacoby Brissett's going to hang out 2 weeks into
Yeah,
the season.
and are you going to trade Josh Sweat? What can you get for him?
I'm not trading Josh Sweat. Hey, the reason why I think I said it before. The reason why I lean towards Gardner Minshew is because I'm a guy that likes mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah, this guy move around a little bit.
Yeah,
So
that's why I like Carson Beck.
it's just like we talked about it I think last week because the trade had happened. Here's the Rams going out and getting the best defensive player in the NFL. They were a couple plays from going to the Super Bowl, and the Cardinals are having a contract dispute with a 1-11 quarterback. And the offense did look better with him, but they still won one game. I do have to real quickly call my own self out. Okay, because
Make a note, everybody.
Because I don't do this very often because I'm not wrong very often. I've always said, you tell me the next NFL offensive line, because there's some knuckleheads in college, but NFL offensive line who gets arrested for domestic violence. We just don't. We didn't, and we don't. We're protectors. Well, we protect people.
Who threw somebody
Who
through a wall?
who broke the mold?
This left tackle from the Rams, Alaric Jackson.
Alaric Jackson.
Alaric-
I think he played locally here.
Okay,
Did he?
I think he did.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay, well, you look at it while
Maybe not.
While it says he was suspended 2 games in the NFL by the NFL a few years ago, but for recording a girl without her consent during sex.
Oh boy.
But this supposedly he thought a girl was videotaping him. He wanted to grab the phone, take it away, hit her on the hand, the arms. But he got arrested. Booked into jail at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Released on $50,000 bond at 7:20, and I'm like, that blows my whole theory up in the way. Offensive linemen do not get involved in domestic violence.
Coop, it's even worse. He's not a local kid. He grew up in Detroit, so
Okay.
that explains it.
I'm juxtaposing him with a guy that played.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I think maybe a Mountain Point.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And
Maybe he was being a protector.
Of himself.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have me on camera.
All right.
Wow, Dale. So one of your boys let you
Yeah.
down. Huh?
You don't judge everybody because of one person, Dale. We still think highly of you.
We'll
It's
see
an
what comes of
inconsolation.
it, but he did get arrested. So
Yeah, and $50,000 bail is what I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, $50,000
Yeah.
bond.
Him and Coop
Oh,
need to have that in their couch cushion for crying out loud.
That's felony.
Wow.
That's felony too.
How
Is he
about
the
that?
starter for the Rams? I don't think.
Yeah,
Is he the starter? Okay.
He's their left tackle.
All right. I wasn't sure if he was starting still or not, but
Signed a 3-year.
well, there you go, Coop. Dale. We're gonna end this on Dale being wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and he admittedly wrong.
I know, and this guy wearing Texas gear in here.
Yeah, I mean, Diamondbacks, wake the heck up. I got plenty of gear of you in my closet. Just wake the heck up.
Why do you have a Texas jersey out of curiosity?
You know, this was actually given to me to throw out the first pitch at Surprise Stadium.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Then.
Oh, you never talk about that. Was it a strike or was it?
Do we have video?
You know, Dale, I don't want to talk about that one.
You know, because Troy Aikman was a part of like a 1% owner of the Padres, and they had him throw out the first pitch of the first game of the season.
He should do well. He's a quarterback.
He should. He said it's the most. He said I was more nervous throwing out the first pitch than playing in the Super Bowls.
Wow.
And he was a first-round draft pick out of high school to go play baseball. But he said that is nerve-wracking.
Troy was a first-round pick out of high school?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm
damn.
just looking at Coop. Everything's on the internet. I have it pulled up here. He's warming
shit.
up here.
Oh,
He's warming up.
Oh, shit.
He's warming
they
up.
put that up?
Yeah.
No,
There goes the interview with Coop right here.
No.
Guardians Rangers game. He's talking right now.
Is this
No.
okay?
Oh no, this is getting retweeted out here, folks.
No,
Channel 12.
no.
That's the problem with working for a news station. They obviously sent a crew out with
Oh,
you.
my God. Oh,
Here we
my-
go. I'll retweet this out for everybody. Let's get Coop's reaction on his first pitch here.
Oh, no.
The
What
41.
did you throw? A fastball, or did you throw a little curveball?
You're not even on the mound. You're not even on the front of the mound. That actually was a pretty nice curveball right there. That was a strike.
The gravitational pull.
Look at that retweeted out here. March 13th, 2024.
Oh my gosh!
12 News had that.
I
Look at
didn't
that
know
retweeted
I
out.
don't remember that. They did me wrong. I didn't
Yeah,
know
I
they
was
did
gonna
that.
say they. You were the boss there too, and you allowed them to come out and.
Hold on, is
record
he
you.
throwing from the grass, or
He's
he
not
at least
from the
got in the
grass.
dirt?
No, he's on the grass. Not even on the front. He's in the grass.
Hey man, let me tell you something. So
Yeah.
I
It's a
had,
nice throw.
I had to throw out one for the Diamondbacks, and Luis Gonzalez gave me so much garbage. He said, "Dude,
He was making you
if
feel
I
bad.
catch you in front of the grass, he said you're not allowed." So I had to go on the mound for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I don't want to talk about.
Did you bounce it?
Oh yeah.
See, I'm okay with bouncing it. It's missing 6 feet to the left or
Oh,
right.
I did
that I'm
not. I
worried
did not
about.
pull a 50 cent.
Yeah, that's what worries me. Like I'll bounce it because 90. You don't understand. 60 feet's far. You're on an upper mound. If you don't do it all the time, you don't. I'll understand bouncing it or throwing it a little high, but it's when you throw it 6 feet to the. It's like, what are you aiming at? That you
man,
throw it way
yeah,
over there.
yeah, I
All right, but go find that opening there. That thing for the
I'm gonna retweet that
Diamondbacks.
out for everybody at the main event Twitter site there. Everybody, thanks for joining us here today. Coop, as always, thank you very much. For everybody else, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow as well.
I can't believe you pulled that.
And it doesn't take long.